Hello, and welcome to another employment resource video with Butler Area Public Library. In this session, we are going to talk about resume writing. And your resume is your personal marketing pitch to an employer, so you want to make sure that it makes a strong first impression. And your resume is a list of experiences and accomplishments that you've had throughout your career across however many jobs that might be. And so you want to tailor your resume document to the job that you're applying for. There is no one size fits all resume. You want to make sure that you're customizing it to the jobs that you are applying for. And you want your resume to demonstrate that you can do the skills or complete the tasks that they need. So your resume typically is going to want to be 1 to 2 pages. It's okay to go onto a second page, especially if you are later in your career and you have a lot of experience, but you certainly don't want to go beyond that. A recruiter doesn't have a lot of time to look over your resume, and so you want to make sure that you are bringing your strongest skills to their eyes. And a resume has a few basic sections, so your contact information, your work experience, your education, and your skills. So first things first, you want to lead with your contact information. Obviously, this includes your name. And then you want to include an email and a phone number because these are going to be the fastest ways for them to get in touch with you. And you also want to include an address. And then the meat of your resume is going to be your work experience. This is the most important part of your resume. So for each job in your job history, you are going to want to include the job title that you had, the company that you were working for, the dates of employment. So for example, January 2005 through October 2008, and then highlight the duties and accomplishments that you had. And you want to put these in reverse order. So you'll start with your current or most recent job first, and then work backwards down the page in reverse chronological order. And use bullet points with active words to demonstrate your skills. This helps break down a nice, convenient list of skills and duties for the job recruiter. So in our example resume here, you can see in the work experience section that this person has their current job leading that goes to the present, and then they continue chronologically in reverse. And we have bullet points that are demonstrating not just the day-to-day tasks that this person completed on the job, but the successes and accomplishments and skills involved. So for example, you can see that this person didn't just order supplies, they anticipated office supply order needs and kept purchasing consistently at or under budget. So you're demonstrating that you were actively involved in the process and also aware of budgeting needs. Some other examples of bullet points would be here in the second job, answered incoming calls, an average of 70 a day, and resolved student issues or directed them to the appropriate employee for further help. So we're not just saying answered phone, but we're showing that we were doing that task. We were doing it at a high volume, and we were making important decision-making skills on the fly while doing it. We will have a copy of this resume downloadable in the video description so that you can look it over and use it as an example while you're writing your own resume. Education, you're going to want to include your degree, the school that you got it from, and the year. Though if you are later in your career and don't want to include the year if you're worried about age discrimination, that's certainly okay. And you'll usually want to put your education below the employment section. Employers are more interested in your work experience and the strengths that you're bringing to the open position. The only time you might want to lead with education is if you are fresh out of college. It's okay to put it at the top of the resume then. And then skills. If you have any other important skills that you want to highlight, you'll want to put them in your skills section. And these are hard skills. So if you can speak another language, if you are experienced in all the parts of Microsoft Office, if you can use Photoshop or do coding, your typing speed, any other computer programming type computer program skills. This also includes professional memberships if you are a member of a trade organization or a professional membership of any kind. And then these sort of specialized licenses. So if you have a CDL, you can drive a forklift. If you have any other kind of licensing that would be relevant to the position, you'll want to make sure you list it under skills. Now, the skills are not the place to put phrases like you're a hard worker, you're a team player, you're enthusiastic, you work well with others, because those are things that you want to demonstrate in the bullet points in your job listing. So when you're writing your resume, it's worth it to put a little extra work in first to create a master resume for yourself. Now, this is not a document that you're going to email out, and it can be as long as you need it to be. And in your master resume, this is where you're going to list all the jobs and all the accomplishments or tasks that you performed at each one of those jobs, all of your skills, any memberships that you've had over time, and all of your education. And it's worth it to create this master resume because this is what you can refer back to when you create your targeted resumes. And the targeted resume is the document that you actually send out with your job application. This is the 1 or 2 page resume that you want the employer to see. And when you're making your targeted resume, you can then just copy and paste over the relevant sections from your master document. So the jobs that are most relevant to your application. And this way you don't have to sit down every time you apply to a new job posting and think about what jobs you've had, think about what tasks you performed, because you already have a list that you can refer to. It's going to save you a lot of mental energy and a lot of time. And when you're writing your resume, you want to use active words. So activities or phrases from their job description that you know you can do, demonstrate how you've done them in your previous work. And check out the list of resume action words that we have for inspiration. Here is a list of some of those action words that you can use. So you can see that there's an unbelievable number of ways that you can describe the tasks that you performed at your job. And we will have a link to this document in the video description. And recruiters are skimming for words to jump out at them. So make sure you're using interesting words, you're not repeating the same one on every bullet point, and you're trying to use specific words or phrases from their job description when you describe the tasks that you've done. And make sure you proofread carefully. Don't just rely on spell check. That'll get misspelled words, but it might not catch grammatical errors or just errors from copying and pasting. So make sure you read carefully or have a trusted friend look over it for you. When you're making your resume, most people are probably going to start in Microsoft Word, which is a really useful tool. It does have some built-in templates, but sometimes they can be a little difficult to use. So it is actually usually easier to just type the document yourself and create a little style on it by using centering or bolding or underlining. The downloadable example resume that we have in the video description was typed entirely in Microsoft Word from a blank document. We did not use a built-in template. Templates can sometimes be difficult to use, especially if you need to copy elements or change them later. So often it's going to be a lot easier to simply type up your information and format it by using different font elements or bullet points. In this example, we made the name at the top a slightly larger font size, so it stood out. And then we differentiated between the work experience header, education header, and skills header simply by centering that text. So initially it would have been left justified. We centered it. We also made it bold and underlined. To do your bullet points, you simply use this icon here. So you can see we can change that from regular text to bullet points. And by just using the formatting built into Microsoft Word and not a template, you will strengthen your Microsoft Word skills and also not have to worry about any formatting errors later on. If you would like to use this Microsoft Word document as a template for your own resume while you are getting experience formatting one, you can certainly do that. There are also some online tools that you can use to create a resume. One is Pennsylvania Career Link, which can be found at pacareerlink.pa.gov. PA Career Link has a resume creation tool as well as a number of other job resources. And the PA Career Link resume builder has boxes that you fill in, and it guides you through filling out your employer, the location, job title, and your list of duties. And when you fill that out, it will generate a downloadable resume that you can then save as a PDF. You can also use the Gale Testing and Education Reference Center, which is available to you as a Butler County Library card holder. To access the Testing and Educational Reference Center, you'll want to be on our website, butlerlibrary.info, and click e-resources. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and click the green button for the Testing and Education Reference Center. And you will be prompted to put in your library card number for a Butler County library if you are not accessing this within a library itself. But then once you're in the site, you can go to Career here at the top of the page and go to Resume Writing. And the Visual CV Resume Creator is the newest tool that they have for resume writing. And you can see that they have a number of boxes that you can just fill out, and it guides you through the information that it provides. And then there is a visual element to it that helps you look at the layout of the information that you've provided, and you can also drag and drop and move elements around. And it's a nice interactive guided resume tool. You can save these into your account for free to access anywhere, and you can also download PDFs of them to upload to job application sites. So what about references? Don't worry about putting a line "references available upon request" or something similar on your resume, because it's assumed that you will provide references if they ask. So use that extra line to sell some interesting career highlights or another skill of yours. But you do want to have a list of references, and a reference is the name of the person, their contact info, and you'll probably just want to have phone and email because that's the fastest way for a potential employer to get in touch with them. That person's title or the job connection. And make sure you ask your reference if they are willing to be a reference for you before applying. That way they know to expect a call. When you are writing your resume, when you save your files, make sure your file names are unique and identifiable. So you might want to have it have your full name, first and last name, and resume, or first and last name and the name of the job that you're applying for. That way you know which file it is, and the potential employer, once they've opened it, knows how to connect it back to you. So you don't want to just have a file that's called resume. And most online job application sites will accept Word documents or PDFs. When you're saving your files, you want to be able to access them easily. One way to do that is to save your files on a USB stick. That way you can put that USB drive on your key ring or in your purse or your backpack, and take it with you. That way, at a moment's notice, you can stop in at the library computer lab or at any other location where you might have access to a computer and easily open up those files, edit them, make copies, and upload them to job application websites. The other option for easy storage and access is online cloud storage. Some examples of that are Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, and Dropbox, all of which have entry levels that are free. They don't cost anything to use that storage. And that's nice because anywhere that you have internet access, even on your phone, you can log in and access your files. And so you'll be able to look at your resumes that way. We hope this has been a useful video lesson, and best of luck on your job search. Thank you.